going on, everybody? Fans of swinging this kettlebell and strength. I'm going to talk to you today about a thing that's kind of always on my mind because I've done this for a pretty long time now. Social media is always changing. And this is a question that I get a lot, is people asking me to join in challenges and stuff. So you can see that the last couple years I've wrote kind of extensively on why I feel that just a challenge and just going ahead and doing something just because someone has it out there and yeah, that looks really cool, to me isn't the best thing for when you're first starting to get into a lot of stuff. So that opens it up to me joining a couple kettlebell challenges and things like that. I'll definitely do it, but when I do it, I want to make sure that my issue with it is when people say they go and just grab this kettlebell and they buy or something, a cheap kettlebell from Target or something that's going to be overpriced and not fit to them at all, and they're going to go immediately to either Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, or something like that, that's where everybody's at. And they're going to see somebody's thing, and they're not going to worry like that, hey, I have no experience on this whatsoever, and I'm just going to jump in and do this day one challenge. They're not going to know that some of these challenges are strictly based on getting other people to, basically people with way more experience, or sometimes even the most experienced people out there are doing and passing these things around, which is awesome. It's a good community, but at the same time, it's kind of setting up people to maybe see or try to jump in too fast. And there's very, very little progression from a person that's never used a kettlebell before. I don't want to sound like an elitist or anything like that. What I want to do and what I've tried to preach and teach people over the near decade that I've done this is I want people to be able to use these things to decrease injuries, to be able to accumulate less injuries in their training, to be able to do things, and that's another beauty about kettlebells, is they're such a expressionful tool. I mean, there's so many things you can do, and that's great. That's why these challenges are popping up a lot, because there's so many things to do with them. But then you'll see some things where people don't realize that this is not something that someone should be trying within their first 6 months, or first month, couple years. Some of these exercises that I've done, I don't even call them exercises. They're basically like an expression of movement with a weight. There's juggling, there's all sorts of this stuff. Like, I'll put it out and I'll talk about why this shouldn't be done for this, person of this training age. I have a lot of thoughts about that and a lot of other types of fitness sports, as to getting someone in on the weekend and showing them all these exercises that, have taken people years to master. But anyway, so I'm not trying to knock that at all, but I do want to create something that's based on getting more beginners a chance. So the thing is, it's not flashy. It's not going to be flashy when you show somebody, here, we're going to have this beginner kettlebell challenge or a beginner form challenge, and you're going to work on doing 40 clean flips. We're going to work on getting the kettlebell snatch to rotate. I don't see anyone teaching some of these tactics, some of these little techniques that's going to make you be able to do the full move safer. Just because it's not flashy, it's not something that, but see, that's the problem. That's what, a lot of people, I'll use Pavel as an example. Grease the groove. Like, a lot of people started in hardstyle and RKC, and that's what they do. They grease the groove. They do it, and they do it, and they do it. And that's an awesome thing. And I think a lot of people get upset about seeing people with kettlebells, say kettlebell sport athletes or something, that, you know, that's not what kettlebells are for. I mean, cars are meant to transport you certain places, and people do all sorts of weird things in cars. Anyway, but there's just so many different things. So I wanted to make this a short video, and of course it's not going to end up a short video. I just ramble. But this is something, like I said, the kettlebell, the challenges, no matter what they are, whether it's a 30-day eating challenge, when someone goes, they're used to eating McDonald's and Wendy's and just every single fast food, and that's what they do. That is what their body knows. That's their baseline. And all of a sudden they start eating better foods, and, you know, they're like, oh, I'm you know, something's wrong. I'm going to the bathroom regularly, like 3 times a day. I'm like, well, that person might feel ill comparatively to how they feel all the time eating that diet. A diet is just what you put in your mouth. Diet's what you eat. Diet's what you swallow and digest. Okay? It could be this computer, it could be steel, it could be eggs, it doesn't matter. So when we see someone that says, oh, I started eating better foods and I don't feel very good, comparatively, they might not feel very good. So when you take a person that's in 30 days and tries to do a complete 180 spin, 180 just change on their nutritional intake, they might feel really, really bad. They might not like it at all. It might be very, very hard for them to continue. But you keep pushing, and, you know, us as fitness professionals or nutritional people say, well, just keep doing it. It might be too much for them at once. The better thing to do would be to add a couple good things, just a few. Create habits, and that's what we try to do at Swing This with utilizing precision nutrition techniques and stuff like that. But in my own, but focus on small changes for the better. Don't even keep the bad ones, keep them, but add a couple more. What happens is starts to weed out the bad ones. If you add another good one and then add another good one, all of a sudden you might not have time. One of those bad ones kind of squeaks away, try to get away from you. Okay, let it go. Then all of a sudden you might want to work on maybe decreasing one bad one, adding something. And then all of a sudden you're slowly, instead of going right, or your left, my right, and then immediately going this way, maybe we take and we slowly start making a curve. We slowly start changing around. So your body, and more importantly, your mind, because it's going to help control and sustain this over the course of your lifetime. This is what we want. We want sustainable activity. We want sustainable nutrition. We want sustainable relationships, all that stuff. And that's the stuff that keeps things going. And I should have made a 1-minute video. You're probably moving on 6. But philosophy. So instead of jumping into something, look for the basics. Get in tune with the basics, and then slowly start adding stuff. I guess my point is, I'm going to join and create possibly some of these challenges, but I'm also going to have some stuff that can be really, really focused on the basics, the fundamentals. You hear me talk about fundamentals. Before you're doing kneeling kettlebell snatches, I'm pretty sure that your standing overhead normal kettlebell snatch should be fucking perfect. It should be perfect before you start doing other things that challenge all sorts of other stuff. The exercise is already challenging. Make sure it's fucking perfect, okay? Perfect. You know what I mean? Perfection's not a thing, but if it's the best you can possibly get it before you start doing all these other variations of it. So anyway, sorry for the rant, but you come to know that's what you're going to get when you listen to me. So, Joe, Swing This Kettlebell Strength, out.